Well, Mickey, we've done it again. We
We
have
have.
successfully completed another themed month here on Nerd Initiative.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers to that. But if we're going to do it, we got to do it right. Because you know what? It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time to start your week off right. Right here on Nerd Initiative with Play for Keeps, the show. This week, it is the finale of our April O'Neil month of TMNT. That's right. Mickey, for the last time, spin it like a pizza. Play that intro.
You got it. Go.
That robot at the wham. I love it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nerd Initiative. My name's Off the Cuff Tom. Tonight, I just have it as Tom because I was busy and things happened. So, you know what? It might change at some point. Who knows if I have time to do this. But with me, as always, he is the voice of Nerd Initiative. He is the shredhead to my splinter. He is the one, the only, Mickey CWK Smith. What is going on, Mickey?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Kind of sad to see TMNT month come to a close, but also glad. I don't know. It's a little bit of both. It's a bittersweet moment.
It is bittersweet, and folks, we can always come back to this. There's, Turtles have been around for 40 years. If there's something specific you want us to focus in on, go. Make sure that you are signed up for everything on Nerd Initiative. Be on all of our socials. Let us know. We want to hear from you. Remember, this is a give and take, because trust me, we're giving, and we'll take whatever you got within reason.
Yeah.
So let's start it off. Any pickups this week? Did you get anything, Mickey? As we comb our offices.
I posted this. Wait, did I show this? I showed this last time. I showed this last time, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, all right. So pile of loot came in, and I missed out on this the first time. The Professor X in the hover chair. So
nice.
Got that this time. I gotta get a little video together, put them together, and add them up there with the X-Men. I have one space left, and it's for him.
Good luck. Well, I will give Hasbro some credit to that. The fact that they did make the hover chair in two pieces like that, I think that was smart, because it probably was less plastic and cardboard to make that than to make one cube-shaped box.
Right.
Because that's probably about the width, or just a little bit wider than a double figure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So they probably already had that, form factor down or something like it.
Yeah, for sure.
For me this week, I don't think I really got anything. I've been going through my memories. I mean, if you guys notice, I have a little bit of a different angle going this week. It's because I am changing studios soon. And because of such, the backdrop has to change.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually my interview corner style setup. Instead of I'm over here looking at the camera. Everybody's on monitor 2.
Camera 2.
Monitor 1, monitor 2. Oh, no, I can do 3 cameras. Do not get me wrong. I have the capabilities of doing it. But yeah, that's what's going on with me. Not much yet. Did I really pick up anything this week? No, I was just walking down memory lane, putting figures away and being like, okay,
that's
I really
actually
need
fun.
This one? Actually, no, I did get some pickups this week. That surprise box that came in from our friends from the cell.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. And I did get a pickup. Hold on. You know what? How about this? You start toy news, and I'm going to go get my pickup from this week. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, I'll be right back. And play the clip.
Did you make it? Not quite, but there's not a lot of toy news this week, right? Like we'll riff while Tom's looking for his special gift he got this week. Not a lot of toy
I'm running around my house.
Man, we need a camera on that. That would be great.
No, we don't. I had to do that, but no.
Oh man. I'll let him show his. But I did have one more pickup actually while he's doing that. I got
Is that
the
what you
Beast
think?
Station. What is it? Beast Kingdom. 1989
Ooh.
Batman. So he's pretty cool. It's really hard to see. I gotta fix this glare issue, but yeah,
We'll get there one day. We'll be professionals at one moment. Like I'm
it's pretty
literally
sick.
reopening a box that's already sealed.
It's kind of like maybe a lower end Mezco, right? Yeah, but still higher than McFarlane, right? Kind of a mid level.
So I did pick up something from Big Bad. I mean, obviously, I'm very grateful to our friends over at Nacelle Company. They sent me the Sport Bros.
Yep.
From the Biker Mice line, and I totally forgot that I picked up these.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And
Good
so
deal.
I have Mikey, Raph, Mikey as the mummy, Raph as Frankenstein's monster, and Leo as the hunchback because I did not like the pursy lips that he had. But we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Donnie, again, very strange. Why is he not available, or he only ever got one figure?
I don't know. He was the Invisible Man, and
his other figure never showed up.
Yeah.
Rich and I have been talking about this. He is getting the Raph from me as a gift, just because everybody loves Rich. And then on top of it, my local comic book shop does have Splinter, April, as by the way, it is the bride of Frankenstein, and it's the Judith Hogue base sculpt.
Yep.
And Casey Jones, which I don't think I'll get, but I might pick up Splinter as Van Helsing. Anyway, toy news. Running around my house.
You got to get that Splinter Van Helsing and then get that Dracula Shredder that's coming out later.
We already know what this is.
Do we though?
Yes, we do. It was shown at New York Toy Fair. It was on our slides.
Was it the April O'Neil turtle? Okay, so they just put a mystery Instagram post up today, and I was like, this sounds like fun. The fifth turtle, which obviously looking at it, I kind of figured that's what it was. But
it's the Archie Comics April, and you know what? Cheers to NECA, only for the fact that they wanted to do this to get the play out of it. Because how many people in the general public don't pay attention to this kind of stuff?
Yeah, not a lot. So yeah, there you go. Mystery solved. We're supposed to make it exciting, Tom. No, I'm sure.
I am excited that we're getting Old Man Raph.
Old Man Raph from Mirage Comics. I don't really remember this, but it's pretty cool. It's something I think I would like to have on my shelf.
It's something I have in my notes for tonight.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's up for pre-order right now, or it's Target Haulathon, I think actually is what this is from. So every Friday they'll have like new releases. I think this one might be next Fridays. I know Pee Wee Herman is next Friday because I'm keeping tabs on that. Maybe this one. I'm pretty sure you can find them in stores like throughout Target Haulathon, but if you want to pre-order them online, they're released every other like Friday or every Friday they have a special release or something like that. So Old Man Raph coming at you. He looks really cool. Yeah, I do too. And I don't have any.
Mind you, that comes from a different run of the comics, folks. Okay.
I don't think I have any of those Mirage Turtles, so it would be kind of out of the range of my collection. But hey,
okay,
I'm letting you take over because I can't pronounce any of those words.
All right. So, boom. This is the American Morpher as done by Hasbro. All right. Now,
Morphin' time.
This is probably one of my two favorite Morphers. Now, this is a Memorial Edition of Morpher. Okay, so this is Bandai Namco's Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger Dino Buckla. Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast.
Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger. Dude, I have the song in my playlist on Spotify, so Zyuranger, Genji Sentai. Anyway, so the American one is very similar to this. Now, what is a Memorial Edition? Do you know about their Memorial Editions?
I don't.
Okay, so a lot of the Tokusatsu shows have, and I'm glad you brought this up, put out what is called a Memorial Edition. Now, my first Morpher I ever got was this one. This is the Gokai Silver 10th Anniversary Memorial Edition, as I also have the matching tattoo for the character, but it's in an odd spot. Yes, I'm a Power Ranger guy.
Yeah.
The Memorial Edition is the best of the best. It's the highest quality you can get. Now, they've done tons of Memorial Editions for Sentai, Super Sentai. They've got Memorial Editions for Kamen Rider. They're kind of touching on some Ultraman bracers or henshin devices. But this is going to be phenomenal. This comes with all 5 different coins from Zyuranger. It's not going to be there's no Power Ranger stuff involved. There's nothing involved with it. It's a lot better paint quality. The details are going to be in there. So this is the line from Hasbro. Again, you can see it doesn't have the various colors on the back. It doesn't have all the detail. So yeah, this is the Dino Buckler. And the reason it's called a buckler is because this would sit actually on the Ranger's belt buckle itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a really nice piece. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere over $100.
Actually, you want to know?
Them are.
It's actually a little over $200.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
That seems like a lot, but
well, I will tell you, this one for Gokaiger, this was $150. But
seems reasonable.
The cool thing is that Gokaiger was very specific because we had all these different Ranger seasons on here, and you could put in codes and so on and so forth. So the original one that came out during the 35th anniversary, some years ago, only was updated to that particular season of the Sentai.
Okay.
And since then, the Memorial Edition was updated for the newer seasons. And then you can still get newer keys to go, not necessarily with this, but with the brand. And they come with mini speakers that you can put the key in and turn.
Nice.
Yeah, because they all, Gokaiger's theme was keys inside. And that's actually a key. But yeah, I know a thing or two about Rangers. What can I say?
It's cool, though. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Hey, no, that's great. I love seeing that stuff. Last thing, there was a little online leak of the Fantastic Four Lego set. Thought it looked pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know how real this is, so I don't know how to speak on it. I just thought it was interesting that you got a little build of Galactus and the Fantastic Four, although they're kind of, I don't think this is real because they seem a little less than stellar. Like the Thing is smaller, is same size as everyone.
Okay, so I think the problem is that Lego needs to redesign the Big Fig. I think we need a mid fig. You look at the big characters like Hulk, like Red Hulk, A-Bomb, Abominations, all them. They're always that big fig, 2 points, nothing else. With the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing, Ben Grimm, the kid from Yancey Street, I think they need to come up with a scale that's bigger than a standard minifig, but smaller than the big fig. So maybe an oversized minifig. Yeah. The Galactus, I am not a fan of. I think this is just a rehash of when they tried to do the doll type figures like with Spider-Man and Lego. There you go. The Spider-Man Lego. When they did the Lego Star Wars figures, like the animated ones, this looks like it's right out of that school, and I don't like it.
That's fair. They come off looking kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's all you get for Sue's powers is just a little voo, 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 voo. No.
I know.
They did her wrong.
Somebody was like, can't they make translucent parts? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Do you want to see translucent parts? And obviously we have translucent parts.
Yeah.
How many ice characters have we seen, or Elsa's or whatnot?
Exactly. And I mean, you just have long legs for Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. Give me a 1x3.
Make his torso stretch or something. I really don't care about his legs. Make his torso stretch. That's what I want to see.
I think Daniel's getting antsy
for some turtle power.
No, we're getting there, man.
Hey,
we got to do our job first, okay?
I feel you. But I mean, that's
payoff.
That's it for toy news. Is this, like I said, it was a slow week. There was a few Super 7 announcements today with King Lion-O and a couple of other not well-known Thundercats characters, and then that was about it.
The other big thing is that our friend over at Toy Wizards, Scott Zillner, thank you, did get his hands on the new Reignition figures. And
nice.
Thank you, Scott. You can go check out his wonderful article over at toywizards.com. He did a wonderful article saying that, hey, All right. Pay attention. These are kids' toys. These
Yeah.
are not the lightning figures. These are kids' toys.
Yeah.
All right. So don't be that guy and go, oh man, they don't have like the full articulation as like, this guy. Okay. Yeah. What the heck? It's a kid's toy.
Yeah. They're
I
all
might have had that
technical.
ready just in case.
they'll eventually come out with something more collector aimed, probably.
Yeah, and that's their plan. That was their plan to, the original. Now we're almost halfway through the year. The first inklings that they said that the fandom did not want to hear is that we're going to get our first real heads up about the adult collecting market in Q4 of 2025.
You got a little while
We're
there.
barely into Q2, so shut the morpher up.
Oh man.
It's the
It's coming.
truth. I'm just,
Yeah. For sure.
But we're talking about this.
April O'Neil month of TMT.
And also, cheers to Mickey for making this fantastic logo here.
Thank you.
It's adorable.
It didn't get a lot of like use this week or this month. I've just been
This
kind
month.
of putting it here and there, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm going to keep it for later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus
You
that
never know.
video, that background I made, we know or whatever.
Yeah,
We're busy people. Sometimes things don't happen. Will there be a new Rangers TV series? Okay, so Daniel, let's talk about this real quick. I'm gonna sidetrack here.
That's fine.
Right now, Rangers, there is something that is in the works over with Disney. If I would love to see if Hasbro and Disney can work their shit out. I'm gonna say it like that, and give creative control for television series back to Disney. A lot of people are very much one side or the other, whether or not the Disney seasons were some of the best or some of the worst, simply for the fact that they contained everything into one year, just like they do with Super Sentai. I think some of the best well-written seasons, biggest characters came out of the Disney era, but then again, some of the bigger memorable moments came out in the Saban era. The Nickelodeon era did what it could, good for them. I still love all the actors. I still chat with a bunch of them. But if Disney can bring back Rangers in the capacity that it did before, I would love to see that. I can't speak to anything else, even though I know things. Leave it at that.
As someone who doesn't know much about later versions of Rangers, when did Disney take over? Like at what point?
Disney did Power Rangers Ninja Storm is when they took over. Technically, They took over at Wild Force, but the first seasons that were filmed solely under Disney and off in New Zealand was Power Rangers Ninja Storm. That ran all the way up until Power Rangers RPM, which is based on hold on. I'm gonna Go Onger, and then that's when they did the remastered version before Nickelodeon picked it up, and they started off with Samurai.
Okay. More to come on Power Rangers at some point.
We could do a whole Mighty Morphin month in August.
We can.
I'm just saying, because that is Power Ranger month.
Hey, for the future, keep that in the pocket.
And don't worry, folks. We're not doing May as a theme month. We're taking a break. We've got a few things lined up already.
For sure.
So, we definitely want you to have you here. You're coming back, especially Daniel. No more turtles, but we want to see you for whatever we do next, okay? But we're talking April O'Neil month.
Yeah. So, you want me to run this through you?
Well, we'll start it. And I mean, this week we're doing the Neo Nick era, as I like to call it. So that would be Rise and Mutant Mayhem and Tails. And then we're going to talk about all the figures from NECA that we really didn't cover this whole month because we wanted to give them their credit where it's due, and then talk about some crossovers. And then we're going to talk about the comic books.
Yeah. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Don't know a lot about Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, other than the movie, which I will get to after this.
Yep.
As far as the show goes, I mean, it was just another reboot, and they really tried to change things up, right? Raphael's the leader. He's the oldest. Leonardo's kind of like a slacker, honestly, in this show. As you could see, you get April O'Neil with a redesign, and the Turtles use more like mystic ninja powers. It really reminded me of Naruto and anime, the way this series was built. And it was my youngest son. He kind of tried to watch it, didn't really capture his attention, but he loves the movie because we watched that together.
Yeah, so Rise was pretty good. I like the fact that they really focused on the fact that they were different types of turtles to begin with.
Yes.
We have seen in the past the turtles be different colorings, but they never would play to the fact like, oh, Raph is a snapping turtle, as opposed to Donnie, which is I don't know, soft shell crab, because he
Sounds
built
like
his
it.
own shell gear kind of
Yeah.
thing. Another thing that was very, very mixed views was this was the first time that they ever made April African American, person of
Yep.
color.
Yep.
That's because, you know, April was a person of color. She was, mixed race in the original comics. When you go back to Eastman and Laird, like you can look, it's right on our first panel. That very
Yeah.
particular
It is.
April. It's not a thing that isn't known for 40 years. So shut the shell up.
Man, I have that comic cover too. I should. I wasn't even thinking about grabbing that thing. It's way back there. I'm not going to go do it. But I
Oh,
have that.
here.
I have that cover with that art on it, and I was like, "Oh
There you
man,
go. It's right there.
oh yeah. I have that comic with that cover on it. Where
Oh,
she's on
that's
the cover.
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
So
pretty
the
cool.
Rise movie.
This
Go
was a
for it.
lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of time travel involved, and like dimension, uh, multiverses were hot. You know what I'm saying? But again, we have that Michelangelo is kind of like the surviving turtle. Like again, we see that. I think this came out before the last Ronin books were dropping, maybe about the same time. I'm not sure, but yeah, he's trying to save his brothers, and in the future, they've all changed. Leonardo's become the leader like he's supposed to, and he has a great moment where he goes out in a blaze of glory. It's a really fun story. It's very wholesome. It's very sci-fi, very fantasy. There's so much stuff going on in it that it's a lot of fun. And my kid loved it. He watched it several times over.
Point of order. Last Ronin started in 2020.
So this is before that, right?
So the Rise, yeah, Ronin came out before the Rise movie.
Okay. Okay. So I know because we had talked last time kind of how they were already hinting at this stuff
Mm-hmm.
in older things where like Mikey's like the one that would survive all the crazy stuff somehow. Just his personality and his type of whatever past these things that the other guys can't. Um, but yeah, they have to fight the Shredder again, and he's like he's souped up. I guess you call him Super Shredder. I forgot what they call him in the movie, but yeah, he's a monster. It's a
Betty White.
lot of fun. This one is a little bit of a tearjerker. You finally see Leonardo because throughout the show, Leonardo's been the goofball, the slacker. You kind of see him become the leader in
Mm-hmm.
this movie. So yeah,
Great power, great responsibility. But he has greatness thrust upon him.
that's right. Yeah. So yeah, you know, outside of that, I would tell you to watch it. If you don't, I'm not saying don't watch the animated series, but if you just want to get a taste of this era of Turtles, I would highly recommend watching this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you could just kind of hit on it. You'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. uh, um, what did I do next here?
Oh, this is me. This is the one I shoved in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this guy again shows up for Rise. This is the great Rob Paulson. We've talked about him before. He did the Raph on the original Ninja Turtle series. He did Donnie in the next series. And then a lot of people don't know he was the voice director for the Rise animated series.
I didn't know that actually.
Yep, because he knows turtles. He knows how they should be. He
Yeah, for
knows
sure.
what to bring out. Now, if you can't see right there in the middle there, that is a retweet from my old Twitter account. Okay. And where I told Rob Paulson when I finally found out that he was on Twitter back when it actually was Twitter, thank you again for being part of the soundtrack of my youth. And as he said, what a wonderful compliment. Like, I just wanted to take and flaunt that just for a second. But it really is, especially considering the fact that Rob Paulson has been how many different shows, not just Turtles, but
Oh yeah,
Jimmy Neutron,
Animaniacs.
Animaniacs. Well, he's hiding there on the again. You and I can't see it because it's blocked by our little slider, but everybody else can see that right over here. I do have Yakko popping up.
Oh, okay.
Because United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama. Trust me, I can do the whole song. Don't be surprised. But yeah, I thought that was a really, really smart idea of Nickelodeon because you know what? He was already on the payroll for all the other shows he was doing. Why not keep him on? He knew how to, he is an actor. He knows how to bring out the best in actors. So yeah, Rob
And
Paulson.
I kind of wish I had touched a little more on the voice cast because they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Even what is his name? Ben something that plays Sonic the Hedgehog is the one that
Ben
plays
Schwartz.
Leonardo. Ben
Yep.
Schwartz plays Leonardo in this, and he does great.
At the same time, he was just getting off doing, actually as Dewey on the DuckTales 2017 series.
So good.
Oh my god, amazing show! Such a great show.
Not to get off track.
This is why we know a lot of our stuff, folks.
Yeah, that was a great version of Huey, Louie, and Dewey anyway. But moving on.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously released a whole toy line, with Rise of the Turtles. Actually, these were really good, to be honest with you. If you didn't like the show, though, which I don't know how it did ratings-wise, probably not super well, because I only think it made it 2 seasons.
It only ran 2 seasons.
Yeah. So, I remember when they announced the show, people just whining at how the Turtles looked and that April was African-American, and, like, it was a big fuss. That was kind of the early days when we were starting that whole, like, social media toxicity fandom.
Wait. I'm going to go here. Here we go. Is this again, one of those exact times where, for God forbid, for whatever reason, that people like to cry and complain about their TV shows because, we may have happened to have had this whole idea that, oh, wait, we went from animation, regular goofy animation, to Saturday morning cartoons with the red skies. And the red skies were, oh my God, it's so much more and grittier. And then we went from the red skies to, oh my God, they're puppets and suits now. And they're like, oh my God, then we went this to this gritty Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they were all had the white eyes. And then it's like, okay, now we're done with that. And it's like, oh my God, now they're CGI. Shut up. All right. Time moves on, and so do your shows.
Yeah, pretty much. It's it got more hate than it deserved. It didn't appeal to me much either, but that's okay because I still have all the iterations of Turtles I like. Like, they're always there. I can go watch the classic cartoon. I can go watch the movies. I can go watch the 2012 series.
Be more appreciative that we still have this damn franchise than anything.
Yeah, and I can still, like, they could be like, oh, Michelangelo's my favorite turtle. I'd be like, mine too. Maybe
Which
you're Michelangelo.
Who cares? It's Mikey.
And Mikey's always the same. And this one, the only difference is Leo. That's about it.
Yeah, Leo got to take a back seat while Raph went, damn. It's the truth.
So yeah, just remember, your version is always there. It ain't going nowhere. You can go watch it anytime you want.
And your version might be your thing you don't like might be someone's first introduction. So let it be sacred to them.
Let that new audience come in so you can enjoy it with them some way. You can connect, even if it's different. But here's a little more like close up. This is a really cool, I think is it the Turtle Tank or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Great playset / vehicle. Like, these toys were underrated as all get out. I kind of wish I had collected them back then. I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't, even though I didn't watch the show.
And still made by Playmates.
Still made by Playmates. And we'll talk about that more. Playmates are still making them, even though other companies are too. Playmate is still in the mix as well.
Yep. And these particular designs of turtles versus I like the fact that these aren't as droopy. Like, I would say the best way to describe like the CGI turtles, Nickelodeon series, is they were very pear-shaped. Yes. You know what I mean? Very just bleh. Yes. So the fact that these have upper bodies, that they have a little bit more, not necessarily curves, but body difference was a big plus for me.
Yeah, these were, like I said, these were heavily anime inspired. So, like, it made sense that it was a little different design. Mm-hmm. And that's what this generation was coming up in, anime. So it made sense to kind of mix those two and make it fresh. Anyway, I'm moving on. Now to Mutant Mayhem. Dude, this movie rules. Okay, everybody says. Well, I feel like each iteration of Turtles since 2012 has gotten younger, and this is us at like, I mean, these are like 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. Do you have thoughts on this movie?
It was okay.
You know what? My one gripe about the movie was
Splinter.
yes, only because he has no, and I don't know yet. He might have a relationship with the Shredder. I don't know, but that whole thing, it kind of made me think he's not going to have a relationship, like a history with the Shredder and the Foot Clan. So I don't know how that's going to work going forward.
Oh, I'm glad you went that way, because my way is the fact that, like, oh, we finally have Jackie Chan in a Turtles movie, and we're gonna play every single Asian trope with and blaxploitation film at the same time.
That is
that pissed me off royally.
And as good as like the soundtrack is for this movie, it didn't hit at the times when I thought it should. Like they would use like original scores in some spots that felt lackluster. Don't really know how to explain that other than watch it, and I think you'll kind of get it, where you're like,
and the animation style takes a bit to get used to. Like it was a hard pill for me to swallow until I started looking at as a reviewer and not as a fan. And when I realized all the little minute details in it that you really could appreciate that animation has come that far, I will give kudos to that.
Well, I mean, we're coming hot off the heels of Into the Spider-Verse, where there's this huge like animation
shift,
revolution, whatever you want to call it. This was totally trying to bank in on that, and that popularity is a little more like cel-shaded animation as opposed to what that was. But yeah.
See, now I looked at this and I would say, what would happen if animation and claymation had a child?
That. Yeah. I can see that. But
and played in the oil paints.
Yeah. It still had what it did super well is what I love about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the family aspect, the brotherhood. That stuff is what's important to me, and this really focused in on that. And the Turtles kind of wanting to just be normal, right? Like we just want to be kids, man. We're kids. Yep. Why can't we just be kids? Because we look different, because we're weird.
And Ken absolutely has that right there.
Oh yeah.
Because
when that trailer came out, I was like, "This is it."
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Can I kick it? Yes, you can.
Can I kick it?
Yes, you can.
But obviously, there was a bunch of like I already said, there's a bunch of different origin changes here. Shredder and Splinter not connected. Bebop and Rocksteady are already mutated and part of Superfly, who is I thought. They fooled me because I thought that was Baxter Stockman the whole time.
Yep.
And then you find out
it was Ice-T. Or Ice Cube.
Yeah. You find out it's his creation, his little mutant creation where he made a fly. And I guess he's dead. I don't know. We'll find out in the second movie eventually. But yeah, so you have the Mighty Mutanimals basically right here, the whole team plus Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yep, and we'll talk about them and their origin, their comic book origins coming up too.
Yeah, so they gave us a lot, but they changed a lot, and I'm okay with it, seeing where it went and where it may go. But obviously, toy line released with this. These are really cool. I collected these. I was into it hardcore. I tried to get everything I could from this movie. I love the figures. As you can see, there's a little scale of them. They came with the trees. They had, I want to say, like they're on wave 3 right now, or they did 2 waves of this and then they went into Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had a sewer play set. They had them in the costumes there. Very cool party wagon. I've got that one and the remote control one for my son who loves to play with it.
I like the fact that they took 2 of the best toys like from our youth and smooshed them together as the Pizza Fire van. So taking the pizza launcher and the party wagon and going,
yes,
pineapple on pizza. That's for you, Daniel.
Yeah. But yeah, very cool toy line. I was into it. I tried to collect as many as I could. That led into the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was an animated show. I think it's not 8 episodes. It's more than that. 12 episodes. It's almost like two
Uh,
seasons in a way, two stories being told. And again, I was hyped for this mainly because my kids they were like, they're making a TV show. I'm like, yeah, man, let's watch this. And it ended up being really good. Again, very different. We got the purple dragons introduced, which is a big deal. And they're kind of just like some punk kids, not like an organized crime gang or anything like that. Well, they are, they're just not very organized. Yeah.
the neat thing about this is that right now it's still an ongoing series released by Paramount Plus. It debuted this past August 24th, so it's still going on. Again, using some great actors. Thank you. Right there. But did you also know that one of our favorite chefs is also voicing April O'Neil in this one?
Oh
From The
yeah,
Bear.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. She's great. Um,
Um, I think it's great. Fred Tatasciore is doing the voice of Splinter. Thank God, because again, I'm sorry, but that whole Jackie Chan, like I'm just
it's something.
no,
Yeah.
it's a little too much for me. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be an SJW or whatnot, but it's like no, it just didn't hit, man.
That's fair. That's fair. Um, I I got it. The three fish was my favorite storyline, as opposed
Hmm.
to the robots where we get Metalhead eventually. Um, and Pigeon Pete was great. Christopher Mintz, is it Mintz Plaze or
Yep.
something? He did such a good job. Um,
Just say McLovin. Just say
McLovin,
McLovin.
yeah. I'm trying to remember the goldfish's name that Timothy Oliphant plays, but dude, he was so good in that role. Like, he was such a good bad guy. It was
Hmm.
great. He 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 was threatening for a little goldfish. He was so hard to beat for the turtles. I thought it was hilarious. And we got introduced to Bishop, who creates some basically some robots to kill mutants because she has an agenda against them.
Yep.
And
She creates the Mechazoids.
yeah, and then eventually we get Metalhead from that because Donnie hijacks one and kind of reprograms it to be his buddy. But again, they released another line based on the show. I did not collect these. I wasn't super into them. I did want the fish, but I couldn't find them.
Yeah. I'm just glad that with Splinter they got rid of the fro.
Yes.
But that metalhead, that's not my metalhead. It's clanky and janky.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. He was actually the only thing I really wanted from this line, just because if you have TMNT in this universe, you gotta have a metalhead, or at least that's the way I thought about it. If I'm
Either a
trying to
metalhead
complete,
or a slash.
yeah, yeah, we need a slash. I hope we see that in a future.
I would love to see a slash. I would love to see them take the idea of what they did with Slash with the Corey from before and just hype like mega mutant that bad boy up.
That would be cool.
Don't bring back Corey. All right.
No. You
Nothing
can.
against him, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
Tatasciore could kill that. Oh my god, Tatasciore
Oh
would be
man,
amazing.
that would be great.
Have Fred Tatasciore like Hulk out on that. Yeah.
One of the best Hulk voices ever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, speaking of action figures, let's move into NECA, baby.
Oh, you mean like the ones that I just pulled out of my box?
Yeah, exactly. These NECA figures.
Oh,
Hold on.
these are the ones I regret not getting on way ahead of schedule.
Just absolutely stunning sculpts. They look beautiful. They feel good. They look straight out of a movie. Like you just pulled them out of the screen.
They do. I love NECA figures, and now that I don't have Lightning collection money, that's where I've been reinvesting. Like I've been, like I've told you, I've regun my wrong way camera. I've started picking up more figure arts to fill out my collection, but NECA is definitely that second. That and Best Action is another great line, and they're under $25. NECAs are definitely over $25.
Yeah.
So there are two very different price points. I had the pleasure of being at the NECA booth this past 2 years at New York Comic Con to see what they've been bringing out because I like have a few gargoyles but I don't know. Did you add in the wonderful Turtles on Tour NECA figures
I don't know. I might have done it in a future.
in
Maybe.
another slide? because they're just perfect.
Or I was gonna put them on this one, and I didn't have enough room, so I sacrificed them.
That's all right.
But yes,
Well,
they do
look
have
at
that.
Toka and Razor. Like, and the other thing is NECA knows how to do toy photography, so like the
Oh, yeah,
lighting and the staging is great. I mean, just look at that Splinter right there.
yes.
These are the figures you want. If you are a turtle collector, if you're a completionist and you want to go old school and get those lines, all right, go for it. If you want to, really connect with your franchise, take your time, spend the money, get these figures. You will not be disappointed.
Uh, I do wish that I think all of these movie versions are Walmart exclusives, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm,
unless you buy them secondhand or at like at a con or
I'm
something.
not
But
sure.
I I could say that I've got everything on this screen except for Toka and Razor, and it hurts me every day that I don't have them. uh, those slipped away from me, and I don't have a Super Shredder, and those are two things I have to remedy at some point because it bothers me that I don't have those.
Oh my god, I'm looking at. Okay, sorry, NECA, but the cartoon versions of Toka and Razor, no.
Nah, I never liked those.
And that's the other thing. They do also have, and hopefully we got another slide.
Yeah, I'm gonna move the slide to the next because that's what that is.
They do also make cartoon versions of the figures as well.
And they're sick. I just made the decision because TMNT is my favorite movie of all time. I'm gonna collect the movie figures, and I'm gonna miss out on these because I can't afford both.
And the cool thing is that they have that cell animation style
Mm-hmm.
that hits, that makes sense. Like you'll see the little details in their arms and their, where lines would be for pectoral muscles and so on and so forth. They make sense. So again, if you want to collect your movie franchise because that's what you connect to, like Mickey, or if you want to be a cartoon person, like myself, go for this. Or the Archie comics, as they so hinted
Oh yeah,
earlier as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
They even have the black and whites of them. They have the Eastman and Laird style. Like NECA and Playmates, and I'm assuming Nickelodeon, because they should have the rights, have
Yes.
worked out such a great deal and are in such good hands. I can't say enough about what they're doing here. And
Yeah.
even our friends over at Super 7 too, they have their Ultimates line.
Yeah, we'll get to
And
them.
yep, they just got so much going on.
Um, obviously, I can't fit them all on one page. I wish I could, but I mean, this series here has, I mean, every character you can think of. I think they've made them all now, or at least getting pretty close to
Mm-hmm.
the whole animated series roster, right? It's fantastic. I'm glad they're going through the deep cuts.
Exactly.
They've got both sets of Punk Turtles. I only have one of them up here. Yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady. They have like you said, the Token Razor version of this, which is not cool. uh, I think they do the 2-packs of the Turtles. You don't have to buy that 4-pack. If I'm not mistaken, they do 2-packs as well.
But why waste your time? Just get them all one and done.
You might as well.
That's
If you're
my
really,
opinion.
if you're like, when I walk into a store and I see like some new Turtles merchandise or something, I'm not buying one. I want one of each. Like if I can't find all four, I'm not buying any. You know what I'm saying? That's how I do it.
Yeah, see, now that's the thing. If I can get the 4-pack, I'll get the 4-pack. But as a realist, I'll get what I get when I get them.
It's just
Like
like
what was
something in me is like, I can't just get 2 of the Turtles. I have to have all 4 of them.
See, now speaking of NECA, like I only have 2 of the gargoyles.
Yeah.
Right, because 1, they look the best, and 2, they weren't over hyper visualized in their style. So
Yeah. So yeah, the animated series, NECA, very cool. But they also they do a comic series line as well. Mainly the Mirage comics, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, I have one of these. If I can get to him without messing anything up. Master Splinter with his teapot.
And he looks so good.
And he comes with the 4 little turtles and a canister of ooze, a Krang or Utram, and a Mouser, which is pretty cool. Let's see if I can get my Mouser here. They're really well detailed and sculpted. They look great on the shelf. And they have the little like I don't know if we can see it. The little like comic like shading lines and stuff
Yep.
like that. It's really cool. But yeah, again, they've hit on. You've got the 4 turtles there. They've done like the OG sketch turtles, original Shredder, Casey Jones, the original April O'Neil. They have
April's Black?
what? No way. Again, this is another series that's they've done a good job with some deep cuts. They've got foot soldiers. They've got alternate versions of the Shredder from the comics. They've got everything. If you could think of it, they've probably made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And speaking of comics, NECA, hot right now is The Last Ronin, and they have a whole series on that. The only character I have is The Last Ronin, that very first one in
Armored.
full. Yeah. I would like to have the other turtles, but I'm not in a rush to get them. And I would like to have Master Splinter too, but they look great. They're awesome. If you're into the comic, you'll really like these. They look really good. And as you can see, we also have April with the 2 new from the Last Ronin.
Last Ronin 2 Revolved. I think when it comes to this, I would much rather just have the Last Ronin armored. Nothing against the rest of them, but I think that doing the original figure is what opened the door for everything else.
Yeah.
Yes, big huge issue is Last Ronin is dropping this week, and one of us from the Nerd Initiative bullpen will be covering this.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really, for me, I think that doing the first figure was great. The rest were kind of like an afterthought. That's just my opinion.
Because, I mean, the other turtles, we don't really see them except for a few flashbacks here and there as to what happened in the past.
In the lost years.
But otherwise, they're just like shades of. Can we spoil who the Last Ronin is up here? Has it been long enough now?
It's been 5 years, and considering the fact that on this whole panel we don't see Mikey, process of elimination, sweetheart.
Earmuffs if you don't want to
know. The Last Ronin is Michelangelo.
So yeah, so just in his memories, and he has like, I guess in his memories of his brothers talking to him every now and then as like Force ghosts. There you go. That's that's really the only time you see him in the Last Ronin. So other than these little flashbacks.
But we do have a beautiful piece from at the end, which we're going to share with you. It was a limited edition done by Sideshow Collectibles that my friend Greg has one of, and I absolutely hate him for it.
Me too, and I don't even know.
Yep.
But we did talk a little bit earlier about Super 7 Ultimates, and they went all out in their classics line, in my opinion.
You think?
Yeah, they did everything, top to bottom. The costume turtles, the sports turtles, all of it.
Muckman looks so good.
He does.
Like I had Muckman. It was one of my favorite figures, especially because you could put the ooze in him and it would come out of his belly. I'm on. See, here's the weird thing. Like we know Playmates has done this new retro line in the past year or two, and Super 7's been doing what they've been doing with these. The big difference is one, price tag.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and flexibility.
Oh yeah.
If you can't afford the Super 7s, pick up the other ones off the pegs. Okay, get the retro line, get the the redone ones. If you can afford the Super 7 line, get the Super 7 line.
Yeah.
I know that they just a few months ago we talked about the glow in the dark. Why the heck did they do a variant of Scratch?
Yeah.
But if you know how important Scratch is, go for it.
I think they have some variant glow in the dark turtles too for this line.
It's cool. They can stay on someone else's shelf.
That's right.
We know how I feel about this. If you're gonna make a variant, make sense.
I just really like that they stayed super true to those classic toy designs.
They didn't reinvent the wheel,
and they made them look better. You know what I'm saying?
They elevated those figures.
Yeah, and elevated the price.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, if you stay on top of them, you can find these usually like whole waves on sale if you really stay on top of them.
Yep.
Because they'll sit for a while, and a lot of people will just collect the main turtles and Splinter and Shredder or something. You can find a lot of those other ones at a really good discount usually. If you're a frugal shopper like me.
So inclined.
You spoke a little bit earlier about the loyal subjects, and they've got a lot of cool figure lines as well.
Mm-hmm. I honestly didn't know the Loyal Subjects did have the rights for Turtles till we were doing our homework for this.
Yeah.
They're okay.
I have one, and it's a foot soldier. And there is a review on Play for Keeps, Nerd Initiative Network, YouTube, if you want to check it out. It's okay. Like you said, you could see in my review how I feel about it.
Yeah, they're okay. And Loyal Subjects, we're not knocking you for what you got here, but we're looking forward to what's coming down the line.
Yeah.
There's no mask about it.
Highly, I think I would aim more towards the IDW Turtles here in this line. I feel like for some reason they're just a little bit better quality than like the cartoon series. I don't know why, but they are. Maybe it's because they're like bigger, like because the animated Turtles are like got like scrawny legs and arms. It's a whole thing. But
yeah, I'll agree that the comic Turtles that they did in this were great. The Krang that's here at the top, they did good.
yeah.
Bebop looks good. Rocksteady and that head sculpt. Casey Jones, I don't know what Dia de los Muertos thing he's going to.
Looks like the Punisher with his paint.
Like, that's just what I'm feeling. But
I do like those Turtles in Time vibe Turtles, though, with the pixelation. And I think, is it Super 7 or NECA makes a version of those too?
I think Super 7 does.
Yeah. They're pretty cool too.
There's so many figures.
I know. Like, if you can think of a version of the Turtles, somebody's making it somewhere.
Pretty much.
You can find it.
Merchandising.
Exactly. But also, like I said, Playmates is still making upscaled versions of their toys as well.
Mm-hmm. And not at an upscale price.
No.
Well, okay. 2 upscale price.
Yeah. They had those really cool. I really mulled over those Mutant Mayhem box sets.
Yep.
Just because of the box art is sick. And the turtle and those figures are a little more like better painted and probably have better accessories and articulation, but yeah, I don't know. You had the Mirage all red, Mirage all red Turtles but in like the classics form. Those Turtles in the middle at the top, they're kind of like a reissue of classic.
Yep.
And like I guess you would call, I forgot what they called it, upgraded or something like that.
Remastered.
Anyway, they have texture to their skin, and they have that connecting rooftop for like a whole play set. It's actually pretty cool. It was just not on my radar. I saw them. I was like, eh. I actually had this Donatello Shredder over here. I had all 4 of those 2-packs. And I don't know why. I was like, I'm never going to open these. I'm just going to sell them. So I kind of resold them all. Now I kind of wish I kept them.
I like the fact that they had redone cartoon Turtles. They weren't over cartoony like NECA did, to the point, because if you look at the color on this, they don't have the paint comic lines in or the cell shading. So these were great. And then down at the bottom here, you got like the Origins I drew on a napkin at a bar Turtles.
Yeah. And then you had that Ninja Elite series. They have a few. They have all the Turtles in that costume, I think.
Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Like, hey, let's take Raph and just redo the colors, because none of the other Turtles went walking around in trench coats. So to that, I say...
Donnie did have a Classics figure where he's in the trench coat, though, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but still, it's a push, considering this is saying that it's by the 1990 movie. So for that, I say, damn!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, Playmates... They are making their basic lines, but they try to make some upscale versions sometimes as well. You know.
But there's more.
There is more. I think there's one more. Crossovers. Yeah. There's a ton of these. Even ones I didn't even get up here.
Yep.
But these were like the highlight ones, I think, or at least ones that are popular now. Turtles of Grayskull's hot right now, obviously. So I love them. They're great.
And the fact that they are taking a classic Motu design and they're putting it on top of a turtle, so you can go, oh, hey, that particular Leo is Samurai He-Man from Wave 3.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. And also, first time Mattel's made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think.
In collaboration.
Yes. Turtles figures. Mm-hmm. You know, they got that Mattel on them, but yeah.
I like the fact we got these, playmates with the Turtles and the Street Fighter figures. That's kind of fun considering we did have the Cowabunga. But there was TMNT Tournament Fighters, the
Yeah.
old game on Super
Yeah.
Nintendo. The Stranger Thing ones, I don't get.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just pushing the 80s nostalgia.
That was the first time I said to myself, "That's enough. You don't need any more Turtles crossovers right now." And then they came out with more.
Yeah, the Cobra Kai.
Yeah, meh.
Again, we're just trying to overly saturate with the 80s nostalgia. Now, the Turtle Ghostbusters, I'm okay with that.
And those are the 2012 Nickelodeon Turtles, I believe, that they did that crossover with. And you have that the Transformers, correct?
Yep. Actually, I have this top picture here at the top, and I also have everything that's involved here on the bottom one. That's why I'm saving it for last.
Okay.
So I do have Party Wallop. I'm a huge fan of Transformers when they do a figure and they do the collaborative with a franchise and they do something smart about it. Like the Stranger Thing one, I didn't get. The Hiss Tank G.I. Joe one, I'm like, this is a push because it's Megatron. I would have preferred an original character, not Megatron. So I passed on that. But like I have Agent Knight, I have Gigawatt. I have Party Wallop. And the cool thing is Party Wallop comes with 4 interchangeable masks. So you can make it whatever turtle you have. And it comes with all the weapons.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the bottom here is concerned, this is from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers crossover number 1.
Great comic.
Unbelievable comic. I had the opportunity of interviewing Ryan several times about this and the fact of how they did it. And if you notice, Shredhead is the Green Ranger. Well, that foot soldier is technically Tommy. There is a head swap for it. I never did it. I liked having it kind of mysterious and how the Turtles all changed off and how their weapons were devised into a form like the Power Rangers according weapons. So like Raph's size are much longer, but if you look at the handles, they look like the Power Sword. Mikey's nunchucks are technically the saber-tooth daggers on each end. Donnie got the really oddest one with the power axe on the end of his bow, but it works.
Yeah.
Now, if you notice, they never did a second wave. Even in the second book, the Turtles got new forms because apparently, because of the Morphin grid, there is parts of the grid everywhere on every dimension, including Dimension
X.
And I have called, and this interview will never see the light of day unless I get the okay. I called out Ryan Parrott and said, "What schmuck over you said, hey, in the first issue, they have to color code the morphers to the Turtles' colors? Because I know you are not that dumb." And he's like, "Dude," and I have it, and I can show you the clip. It says, "Dude, you're so going to get me in trouble." I was like, "I know.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I do." So like the Dimension X Turtles, I know who came up with the design, and I'll give him that. But I was very disappointed in the stories. I wouldn't mind if we got a third turtle book, crossover. How you would do that, but I'm all for it. Speaking of books, The Turtles of Grayskull, we just got done reviewing that here on Nerd Initiative. Good story to start. Totally fizzled out.
Yeah, it happens. But
yeah, let's talk about stories now.
Let's talk about them.
We got a lot of stories. We got 40 years of stories to talk about, folks. So where did it all start? It started at Mirage Studios. Volume 1 of the books came out in 1984 and ran all the way to 1993. This is where it all started. It was black and white. It was gritty. This was supposed to be, we already talked about it, that, the Turtles were tied to Daredevil.
Yeah.
Big things, this is where we got the origin. And then it broke it down that, the different arcs, like the Return to New York and then the City at War. Big things is that Casey Jones debuted during this in a one-shot with Raph. Rennet, the time to have an apprentice, who was the big what to do about the whole Turtles of Grayskull crossover, was there. There was a second volume that was in color, but it really didn't do all that well. But this is the birth of the Turtles right here, Eastman and Laird. There's some great stories and a lot of things we still see nowadays, or there's like, hey, we liked this idea so many years ago, let's bring it back.
Yeah.
And then following up, we switch from Mirage Comics to Archie. Now, Archie is a little bit more fun, a little more lighthearted. Some things definitely did shift into mature storytelling, but this is kind of where you started seeing, let's have a little bit of influence from the cartoons. That's why Archie had the design it did. But it really did take some bigger tones. This is where the Mutanimals showed up out of this.
I like that.
This is where they meet dystopian future eco-wrecked worlds of themselves. Eco-terrorism was a real big thing back at this point. This is like when you had your Captain Planet and, shows like that, because the power is yours. But they also diverge from the cartoon as well. So you don't want to think that, oh, hey, what's going on, radical dudes? No, this had a big tonal shift.
Yeah, you could get away with more in a comic than you can a kid's cartoon.
And again, this is like where certain other characters are introduced, which are now canon in other series. Like our Magan, which I always say his name wrong, was in the 2012 series, voiced by Ron Perlman. So there's always things in Turtles that like to come back around because it's such a rich and vast universe.
Mm-hmm.
Then we switch companies yet again. We head over to Image Comics. Right? The Big Seven and everything. This is the edgy reboot.
Oh, yeah.
This is not canon. Okay? Totally not canon. There was a lot of brutal things that happened. This is also where you get the Old Man Raph from.
Okay.
It comes out of the Image line. Raph even becomes Shredder temporarily.
I remember. Yeah. Okay. There are some weird stories in this one that I'm remembering.
Yeah. There's a lot of big things.
Yeah.
I don't see it as necessarily as a bad thing. It's just a different storytelling, and just roll with it.
Yeah. I'd like to see this version show up somewhere one day, like they did with the Turtles Forever. Can I see these guys show up somewhere?
I'd say let's show these guys near the end of their run where everything's all jacked up that we don't even recognize it. Then we go from Image and we go back to Mirage Studios.
Mirage.
Yep. Now this is at the point where Peter Laird is doing this by himself, his solo. Eastman had left. Now the Turtles have aged naturally. They're in their 30s, They have mortgages and they have wives and kids and, pickup. No, they don't. A lot of things happen. They start talking about aliens. Splinter dies.
Mm.
And also, if you take a look, when they start to grow apart, Donnie starts exploring alien tech. Leo becomes more isolated. Raph now is dealing with an underground mutant society. Mikey is now a Triceraton gladiator.
Of course he is.
It's a very different take on Turtles. And it's like, okay, well, where are they now, Turtles, if you really think about it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not a lot of these storylines got finished up because Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm. This is the time they bought it, right?
Yep. So then that's where we adapted into the cartoon series. But then we go to IDW Publishing, which has now released the most amount of Turtles stories to date.
And really good, too.
Yep. This is the longest running, and it's still going. There's some big storyline changes that the Turtles are reincarnated souls. There's the City Fall arc. There's the huge stuff with the Krang. And we get another turtle. We get Jenica.
Mm-hmm.
The girl turtle, which we talked about before when, everybody was knocking Venus in our other episode.
Yeah.
And again, I just felt so bad for that cosplayer, going back to my story from last month. She's walking around. It's like, oh my God, it's a girl turtle. I'm like, no, it's Jenica, man. and she looks at me. She's like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot to think about. But again, Turtles from IDW has been written so smartly. You've covered books by them. I've covered books by them. This ran from, and we're saying that it still runs presently, but it did 150 issues and then did a very hard reboot.
Yeah.
Okay. And out of that, we've got Nightwatcher and Mutant Nation, and we still have the regular Turtles that are all running from IDW. And they're just kicking shell like nobody else.
I can't recommend Nightwatcher enough to just a turtle fan, or even if you don't even know anything about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you could jump into this and like dig it.
I think you can spoil who's the Nightwatcher.
It's Jenna. Well, okay, technically it's Jenica. Well, no, Jenica's in a suit, but technically it is a golem, right? Like the suit is sentient. So yeah, but she wears it and they kind of work together, kind of like a symbiotic relationship.
And Ken has this absolutely right. The current run is so on point.
Yeah, I've got to get caught up on the Jason Aaron writes the new run of Teenage Mutant, the main title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I need to get caught up on that.
Slow down, Daniel. I'm getting there.
But yeah,
he's the kind of guy that puts in the pizza that says for 25 minutes and pulls it out at 20. With pineapple. Well, now that Daniel talked about it, let's talk about the greatest story that's come out from the Turtles since. It is The Last Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
That's my quote. It's a pure masterpiece.
Not even going into The Last Ronin 2, just talking about the original. Yep. Was it a 5-issue miniseries or
5
6?
issues 5, over? Okay.
Yeah. It kind of went back to that gritty style. And it was a really hard-hitting story that pulled no punches and it was a tearjerker at times. Like they did a really good job of navigating this. I don't even remember what issue they kind of revealed who it was, that it was Michelangelo.
On top of it, I think it's one of the biggest surprise moments in recent comic book history. Honest to goodness.
You know what though? Yes. Obviously, yes. But when you saw this, I mean, I immediately thought, oh, that's Michelangelo.
I didn't. I took it for what it's worth.
I know, but I was like, oh, that's totally Michelangelo. Like, I just knew he would be. Probably, like we said, they had been nudging this in our ear since the 2012 Turtles, but it was just like, it's going to be Michelangelo.
But, I mean, if you look on his back, he's got all the weapons, so I'm just saying.
Yeah. You didn't know my gut feeling, and I was right after I read it, but it could have been anybody. I expected to be wrong because that's kind of how it goes for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was like, it could be anybody, but my gut is Michelangelo, and it turned out to be. And I like what I really like about this book. It kind of shows the aftermath of war, like because like April O'Neil is an amputee through the war. She's lost, I think, a leg and a hand.
And our hand, yep.
Yeah. And she's having to live kind of underground, raising her and Casey Jones's daughter, who's just like her dad, and she wants to be that vigilante too. And Michelangelo's coming back to settle the score, with everything that's happened and take down this. Is it the Shredder's son? I can't remember.
It's been a while since I read it. I'll be quite honest.
I'm pretty sure it's his son. And yeah, he's there because he's kind of controlling the whole city. Like he's an authoritarian tyrant in a way. He has control and he has all these foot soldier bots and these, everybody's constantly under surveillance and you can't do this. It's a very cyberpunk-like dystopia. And, Mikey comes back to get his revenge. And really, he's only focused on killing the
grandson of the Shredder.
Grandson. That's his main focus. But April kind of, is like, hey, you see all this other stuff that's happening too. Like, it's not just this guy. Like, we're all struggling. So it's a really good story. I don't want to get, too much.
And then other things we want to point on here is after the success of The Last Ronin, we also got The Last Ronin, The Lost Years, where we really started finding out things with the Turtles, how they passed and, how it affected Mikey. And then after The Last Ronin, we now have The Last Ronin 2 as re-evolution, where April is now the sensei teaching this whole new clan of turtles, how to be Ninja Turtles. And it's a big story. It's and I don't say it's a lot to swallow, but if you love The Last Ronin and you just love the Turtles, just take it up a notch, and that's what you get out of Re-Evolution.
Yeah, it can be probably jarring to take on 4 new turtles as as babies, just about,
Mm-hmm.
like toddlers, um, and see them grow into a new team of turtles. But it's a lot of fun, even with someone like me who was like, okay. And I read it and I was like, nah, I like this. It's really good. It's well done. And I think everyone will like it. Also, there's hints of like a live action movie, right?
So there's a video game in the works for Last Ronin.
Video game. Okay.
I don't know about any movie stuff, but I am very interested to see how they do this Last Ronin video game style. I personally would like a game not in line, say, of like Assassin's Creed, but more of like a BioShock or what's the other one that I like? Dishonored style would
Okay.
be great.
Okay.
So I'm all for that, and I know that there's some fan made trailers up, but we'll
There
see what
is.
comes out of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and coming out of that, one of the best collectibles that came out was this deluxe edition Last Ronin set, and from Sideshow. This was limited to 1,000 pieces. My buddy has this. You picked on it perfectly. It's, some say freedom isn't free, and this is the things that happen because of war.
Yeah.
And yeah, trust me, there's a lot of feelings that go into this particular
Yeah.
figure for a lot of people for various reasons.
Right. Also, there's a Funko coming out like this where you have the Last Ronin and the 4 brothers in their ghost forms or whatever. It's like a 4-pack Funko thing that I didn't include up here. There's a
Good,
ton.
because I probably would have deleted it.
There's a ton of Funkos, right? But like just to say, this is somewhere.
This is great. Funko doesn't need
This is way better.
We know how I feel about Funko and certain things. Merchandising. But, folks, it has been an amazing month. We have done so much stuff of turtle history.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you've enjoyed it. We really want you to stick around, see what we're doing. The month of May is going to be kind of the month of mayhem. We're just going to be jumping all over the place.
Yep.
We've got some things lined up, and we really want you to join along with us. So make sure that, as always, you're following along with Nerd Initiative. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, you ding the thing and make it ring, hit that bell for notifications, and then slam that thumbs up to let Michael, the GEO, who's our personal splinter, know that we're doing what we're doing and we're doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, we've got so much great content coming out this week. The big thing is tomorrow night in Preempt, we are talking on Turn a Page about Free Comic Book Day coming up this first Saturday in May. We're going to be talking about a lot of the books that are coming out, and we definitely would love to share them all with you. We've got all of our great comic book reviews coming out this week, so you make sure you check us out on it's our pleasure, Daniel. Thank you so very much. New Comic Book Day. We've got all our reviews. I don't even want to figure out what the lineup is, but we'll at least say it's 24. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Of Wrestling Night Lives on Thursday. I still think they're crying about WrestleMania. I don't know.
Hey, again, I want to say how good the WrestleMania coverage was, and
coverage was great. Show was like my first show back, and I have to go.
Keep following those guys, man. There's no Rich and Sammy. They are great. Just to listen to them talk about wrestling, they love it. They're smart. They understand it better than anyone I know. Yes, their WrestleMania coverage was great, and they're doing a good job everywhere else too.
That's true. But yeah, we've got so much stuff going on here at Nerd Initiative. Make sure you're following along. Exclusive content here on the YouTube channels. Mm-hmm. Once again, thank you all so very much for joining us this past month for Turtles. Yes. Wait till you see what we have coming up next month with, we're going to talk May the 4th. Ooh. Briefly. Look, that's 50 years of content. I'm not doing a whole month with Star Wars, okay?
Okay.
That's rough. But we're going to talk about that. We've got a follow-up to another episode we did before, so we're finally going to do it because I've been harping on it. So I got to get my guy in this. We still have controllers to do. Like, we have a lot of part twos that we would love to bring up for, our Manic May. I don't know. We're going to call it something. I'll figure it out later. Because I'm the name guy.
Yeah.
But as always, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure having you along. And when you play,
you better play for keeps.
Cowabunga dudes. Thank you so very much.